Hi, this is David Baumblatt from Terabant Leadership. I appreciate your patience. For those that have hung in there with me for probably 2 years now, I appreciate it. If you put your name in the comments, that way I can remember you. It's been a bumpy road. Let me do a couple things. Obviously, there's so much stuff in the news, and it all goes to the same point I keep saying that America, an empire, is in decline. We've seen it now. And it's going to go through three stages. It's going to go through a collapse. It'll be of economic nature. Then there'll be a revolution, the fighting with the federal government, and eventually it'll go to civil war. Give it time. Like I said, the difference between me is when I left in 2010, I mentioned this stuff, and it was at that time I agree. That was 15 years ago. It sounded maybe a little bit off, but it's coming. It's going to be more and more mainstream. Let me bring up, we're going to show three clips. The one clip is, and I've mentioned this many times with Donald Trump, I still believe he's the best political candidate, but this system's not going to work. It's not going to work. And there's stuff that he's doing. I'll mention right here with the tariffs. The tariffs are a double-edged sword. And the tariffs, believe it or not, you understand this or not, are more to protect American corporations than the American, you could say, taxpayers or workers. The best thing you could do to protect the American workers is stop all immigration. In fact, if I was president, I'm not saying I want to, because like I said, I think the future of politics is state politics. It's no longer going to be federal, but I would put a moratorium on all immigration for 5 years. All. You could still visit the country on a tourist visa, on a business visa, but you're in and you're out. There's no immigration for literally 5 years. And that's to do two things. One, to get our immigration system under control. And I do believe Trump is doing that with illegal immigration. But also, we need to reassess this. What a scam theory that is, that Trump's also doing, that we need foreigners, that we need America. In order for America to be great, we need people from non-Western countries. Never was like that. How did America become great before? I would put a moratorium on all immigration for literally 5 years until we figure it out, get it under control, and then we could possibly open up small and slow. But again, you're going to see with these tariffs, it's more about protecting the corporations, like we really could care less. And I mentioned that before. I want to reiterate it because there was a lot of feedback and a lot of pull from other comments too about what I've said before. And I've said this many times. America is splitting with so many ideologies. We're going to keep it really simple. We're just going to say the far right, which would be me. But of course, if you're in a non-Western country, it's not called the far right. It's just called normal. And I'll talk about other topics to explain that later. And then you get the far left, which the best way to describe that is maybe communism. So you have communism and then you have fascism. We're keeping it simple, far right, far left. And then you got everyone in the middle. There's no doubt about it. We can all unite against these elite globalists. This is not capitalism anymore. We all know this. This is about cronyism, corporatism, globalism. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be kumbaya in the long term. In the long term, we're going to split. But I'm telling you that you've heard the phrase, the enemy of the enemy is my friend. The short-term target, the short-term enemy, is what I wrote in the book, are these globalists. And that is something that this country and the globalists don't want us to unite. But there makes no doubt about it. I mean, I doubt I have any liberals or communists listening to me, but I make no doubt about it. If you think very similar to what I said about China and Russia, I've never said China and Russia are kumbaya or friends or to even be trusted. They're not our number one enemy. It's just not. So again, if you're listening in and you're a liberal communist, if you really think white fascists are your number one enemy, you're crazy. This system is destroying both of us, both of us. So we're going to do a little clip on Fox News. Remember, I'm right wing. I should support Fox News. These people suck. We're going to watch three clips, but I'm telling you about these tariffs. This economic system is not going to work. Now, for the globalist elites, which Trump is part of that. Him and his family. I think his youngest son is now he went from his youngest son Eric went from 40 million to 400 million with his crypto ventures. A lot of money here. It's not capitalism anymore. Let's watch this clip from Fox News really quick to see how the economy's going.
And they are cracking under the weight of high debt and even higher costs. Mom and pop bankruptcies are surging to a new record. Over 2,200 have filed under the subchapter, is it V or 5? I don't even know. Rules this year, up 8% compared to 2024. Okay, so Dagan.
I should do a video on this. This is also about Amazon. The corporations are buying up or putting bankruptcy in all the mom and pop stores, but small business entrepreneurs, you're done. Now, these major corporations with Trump, some of them, they might do very well, but I think the small business entrepreneurs, they're going to take the biggest hit.
Explain, this is like a relatively new way to declare bankruptcy. It came about in 2020. Is it representative of trouble among small businesses or not? What do you think?
No, it's not. And so I'm going to take issue.
Now look at it. This woman's a feminist. These women are all feminist. This woman talking right now makes more money, has more power, has more influence than probably 99% of American men. Yeah, these Fox News people, they're all globalists.
Issue with the entire framing of this segment.
Okay.
Take that, Brian.
I got up at 3 in the morning to write this segment.
It's not.
I didn't even eat breakfast.
Record bankruptcies. No.
It's an easy get out of jail card.
Yes. Okay. So it's only been around for 5 years.
4, actually.
4. Marcus. That's Marcus in the background.
Well, I guess he knows something about it too. You can write the segment next time.
It is a category.
You know, I can't even watch that shit anymore. Look at these Fox. You know what they're too busy on? They're too busy thanking military veterans for their service. Just, did you see that panel right there on what type of bullshit? And this is, again, where I go to the far left liberals. You know, you're drunk with CNN. The conservatives are drunk with Fox News. Do both of these, it really is like two heads of a dragon here. But just the thought of what they're saying, again, it's not just that woman, everyone on that panel, ask them how much money they make, how much influence, how much power, over 99% of American people. And they say they're patriots, but at the same time, they have no time for an American military veteran who's on the FBI terrorist watch list. We've asked them many times, why am I not welcome back in America? But they're too busy for that. But there's something fake. Let me do 2 more clips because I really want to sum it up with this. And that is, people say we have to come together. We have to come together. Well, like I said, I think the only thing to come together is the primary enemy, and that's the people who have control, the money, the people who are really the globalists who are ruling over us. But I want to make this to the American people very clear: is our military is falling apart. I've said many times, the FBI is the most powerful agency, pound for pound, because it's intelligence, law enforcement combined. What is the most powerful? It's the United States military. And what you're seeing is, whether you understand this or not, our military is falling apart. Let me give you 2 examples. We're going to do 2 clips. You've probably seen this a couple times in other clips. This is a clip in Britain, but it'd be the same thing if this is an American World War II veteran. They're about all the same. And he regrets, or maybe not regrets, but he just feels like it wasn't worth it. He looks at the UK today. You've probably seen this clip. This is the same thing it's done in America. And the reason I bring this up, this is part 1 about the military. The next clip will be part 2. Is how many times do you see all the time, thank our World War II veterans, or you get these faggoty, yuppie, especially white men in America that are, I guess, Generation X or the baby boom generation, like my father served in World War II, and he's so proud, and I'm so proud, and this and that. Listen, asshole. Your grandfather, if he was alive today, or father, would have never served in World War II. No, he would not have killed the evil Nazis or the evil Japanese. If he would see today's America, how we're being treated, and particularly how white men are being treated in America, how we're losing our freedoms to control Christianity, and you name it, our population's dwindling, he would not have fought in World War II. My Jewish American grandfather would not have fought in World War II. But you hear this a lot, this World War II, because most of the time we lost the other wars. I mean, Vietnam we lost, Iraq we lost, but we constantly go back to World War II. And it's a good point when you're trying to understand where is the moral compass. Ask, what would our forefathers think? Of course, start with George Washington, our original forefathers, but I truly believe that World War II was the best generation. Not because they killed the evil Nazis. They did 2 things. Winning a war, though, counts. So that's one of them. It doesn't matter what the war is, but it's hard to be looked high upon if you lost. So 1, they won, and that's a good point. But the second point is when a country is able to muster its men and those men say, I am willing to fight and die for my country, that's an amazing generation. That's not going to happen anymore. Watch this clip and then I'll explain again why the collapse of America is going.
Have you? I'm going to.
Okay, so you might have seen this clip. This is a World War II British veteran, and he's in the UK. Look at these two yuppie newscasters. You got, I don't know, probably an Indian man, a Pakistani man. I'm not quite sure who he's coming from. And you probably got some liberal feminist woman. So glad we're fighting and dying for them. But again, what this man says, I have no doubt about it. If our World War II veterans were alive today and to see how America is treating this is what they would say.
Speak a little bit loud so you can hear
Very,
me.
very nice to meet you all. I cannot see anything that I've done specially that wouldn't have been done by other people of my generation.
Well,
I'm just one of the lucky ones. I'm still alive.
Notice he said the greatest generation. He didn't say but generation. That was expected. Again, part of the reason America is going to fall. If there is a war today, do you think the American men would raise their hand and fight and die for America? As a military veteran myself, I would say don't go. I think you're crazy. I think you're absolutely crazy. I've escaped to Canada. But notice he said that was expected in his generation. Why? There was something called patriotism. We don't have that anymore. And what? It starts all the way from the White House to these globalist corporations. Globalism and nationalism and patriotism go hand in hand. They're mutually exclusive. So it's hard to have a very patriotic country where your primary ideology is globalism, which is the same in the UK.
Well, you are extraordinary, and it's typical of your generation, Alec, that you dismiss what you did. We're speaking up because you, like me, are a little bit hard of hearing, understandably, at 100 years old. But you're brilliant to talk to us here this morning. Now, you played a pivotal role yourself, didn't you? Your vessel did in part of the D-Day landings.
I mean, it's really sad. If you really think about our World War II veterans, it's sad. And like I said, my main thing with World War II, we don't know the truth. We don't know the truth of what happened in September 11th. We don't know the truth of what happened with Adolf Hitler, the Nazis, the Holocaust, you name it. We don't know the truth.
Tell us a little bit about the memories of that.
Well, actually, what happened was we just come back from a convoy to Russia and into Dunoon in Scotland. And as our captain and his wife had already rented a place over the other side of the bay. And he asked me to take him over there in what we called the skimming dish, which I was coxswain of. And about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he came down and said, right, coxswain, over to the left.
I want to speed it up. I want to get to the main part. Let's get to the main question. And it's one of the best ways you could respect military veterans is allowing them to tell their story like this and having the courage like he has to tell the truth, which is total regret. And again, look at these audience members that he's talking to. It's just, there's something about it. We all know that it's embarrassing. It's unpatriotic. It's a sense of betrayal.
Service personnel that have served in all wars and all conflicts. What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Again, I didn't do anything near going to war, and everyone knows, or most people should know my military record, which is normal. Again, honorably served. But anyway, to think what these men have done, to think what they went through, and now to see modern America or modern Britain, how they're treated, their freedoms, it's got to be mind-boggling. What an absolute disgrace that we've treated military veterans. It's another reason, like I said, I would never recommend joining the military unless you just need money. If you're okay being a government mercenary because you got to pay the bills, that's fine. As long as you know that this is not about duty on our country anymore and it's just making money and you want to be a government mercenary, it is what it is. But I'll tell you, this country, I'm going to end it with some segments on this, which shows again, our country's going down. It has been.
Oh, well, I'm
What
sorry.
what do you mean by that, though? At this
Well,
point?
Look at the brown man. What do you mean by that? I think we're just articulating, making assumptions, but it's almost like, you're not talking about racism because that's what we fought in World War II. We fought to defeat racism. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what our World War II fighters were going to Germany for, to defeat racism. But yes, Britain belongs to Europeans. Europe belongs to Europeans. And the thought that the European race is dwindling and dwindling toward extinction, no, that's not what they fought for. I think if Adolf Hitler would have won the war, I think one thing we probably would not have a problem with, that would be any type of white genocide, at least in Western countries. That's probably one thing. But look at this other guy. What are you inferring here? You're not a racist, are you?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now,
I'll make more videos. The amount of censorship that I've gotten, now I'll do another video later on just to show you the very first video on YouTube that I did that censored. It's mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling how much freedom of speech foreigners have, fucking pornography on here, you name it. An American military veteran who's calling out government corruption and saying, I need help, and you censor me on all these platforms, it's mind-boggling. I never would imagine that. But when we talk about freedom, let's start with freedom of speech.
the downside worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that because I want you to know.
So is psychology number one, when you hear stuff like, I'm sorry you feel that way, what that's trying to do is say, tough shit. What it's not trying to do is, I'm sorry for your right. I'm sorry for you. You've been wrong. I'm sorry for you, our system. Never like that. It's more like, I'm sorry you have some tough luck dealing with you. It's a scapegoat. These people don't care, which again, if you're a young man, particularly a white man, I think one of the ways you could kind of object to this is I just wouldn't advise you to sign up for the military anymore.
Know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery. And
Oh, I'm sure they are. Everyone's very grateful. I'm sure, again, this is the UK. I don't expect anything, but it'd be the same in America. I'm sure they're so busy thanking military veterans. I have written every single congressman and senator multiple, hundreds of times. It's amazing how many times I've written them. Not one has responded. They're too busy thanking military veterans.
all that for service personnel. And it's our job now, isn't it, to make it the country that you fought for. You absolutely fought for. And we will do. We want to.
I'm so
Yep, let's leave it to women and non-Europeans to make the Western world great. Let's see how that goes. Let's leave it to the women and to the non-Europeans to make the Western countries great. Let's see. That's like the Chinese saying, let's leave it to the women and the non-Chinese to make China great. Let's see how far that would go.
wonderful to know there are people like you that can spread the word around.
We will do.
Younger generation.
And I guarantee that everybody watching at home will be wanting you to send lots of love.
What a sad story that is. We're going to do another military clip. This is what I'm telling you. Sometimes people say, David, guys like you come around every 10 years. You talk about America's going to fall, and America never has. A great example is, remember 2000, the Y2K, and you have all these predictions that America's going to fall, and none of them happen. America keeps going stronger and stronger. And I get that. That makes logic. So why is my prediction from my standpoint different than others? Well, one, let's look at 2 points. One is logic, and let's look at history. Empires don't last forever. So am I crazy, or are you crazy to think America is going to be around for, what, another 1,000 years? So based on history, I'm right. Now, when I'm right, that could be argued. But every empire will fall. So this thing, it's going to last forever. So that's number one. Number two, let's use the military. And I want to ask you, this is a good litmus test. The last time we had a draft, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was Vietnam. And it was a successful draft. We lost the war, but it was a successful draft. Because like I said, if you as a young man are willing to fight and die for your country, whether you win or lose the war, it matters, but it doesn't matter in terms of patriotism. As long as you're willing to say, I'm willing to fight and die for my country, even if you lost the war, you're an honorable person. I have different feelings with the military officer corps, but you get my point. Can we or can we not do a draft today? What do you think? Think of America. What if President Trump said we are now going in World War III, and I guess the men are only going to get drafted with today's feminism? Wouldn't that be gender discrimination? What do you think would happen now if America said we need a draft? Do you think they would do it? I don't think they would, and I agree with them. So that's a key litmus test. And I keep saying this. I don't think people realize that America became the superpower because of the guns and the gold. Military might and economic might combine. Our military is crumbling from within. Even like I said, and I'll do more videos, I don't have high regard of the military officer corps. I think they're corrupt, they're weak, they're incompetent, and they're immoral. But anyway, back to the point about why I believe a collapse. And there's other elements, but two litmus tests is one, empires don't last forever. We know that. The key question is when, though? Does America have another 5 years, 50 years? I mean, probably not 100 years. I mean, that's pushing it. But you might say, David, I agree with you, but I think we still have another 30 years. Okay, there could be some debate on that. Then the other point is this. If you are living in a country where your men are not willing to fight and die for you. Hence, this is why we do respect our World War II generation. And we said they're the greatest generation. They rose their hand. They said, I will fight and die for America. It's phenomenal. Even though I think looking back, they wouldn't have done it. I think the lies of World War II, but they answered the call. I don't think we would answer the call now. And I would agree. So now we're going to do another military clip, and this is the danger. And I don't think civilians understand this danger. In another video, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that's going to happen in the future that's going to show you why America is going to collapse. Now, we say, oh, again, you hear this, that we need to come together. The population of America, only about 1% of Americans served in the military. And if you're a civilian, you will probably be thinking to yourself, the military people are a really tight-knit group. You know, West Point or the Army or this or that. It's all about duty, honor country, and loyalty. And I'm telling you, our military, and it's been going on for this decade, it's splitting. It is splitting. We are not. Remember, in my case, the FBI recruited West Point graduates who knew me, paid them money so they could spy on me. This is just one example. But this sense of brotherhood, of bonding, of loyalty, even ask the enlisted people out there, what do they think of the United States Officer Corps? I'd be surprised if the majority of enlisted people said it was good. And we'll do examples. Even Donald Trump, you're seeing it now. Our military is falling apart. And what I'm telling you is just like Civil War, where we had West Pointers killing other West Pointers in the Civil War. And you think, absolutely. I'm going to show you a clip here from a movie called Civil War. I didn't even watch this movie, but I tell you before, there's always these clippets that I see that show good leadership. It's just a clip. I haven't even seen the movie. But when I saw this clip, I knew exactly what to say in this podcast. And it's not necessarily what you mean, but it's showing America's falling apart, and it's going to explain to the military. All right, so here's the clip from the Civil War, and he makes a key question. Here's the question I want you to look at. He goes, what kind of American are you? And there's going to be a twist to this. But I think Americans are knowing now, I've said this, Americans, I don't know what an American is anymore. I did the best when I wrote the book, Faith, Family, Freedom. I guess if you're a Christian or you support Christianity first in America, if you're a white European man or you support white European first in America, freedom, let's just start with freedom of speech. You support freedom of speech. I mean, generally, then we're kind of working with something. I don't know what we're working with now. I mean, it's like clay putty through the wall. I mean, we don't know what an American is anymore. But I'm going to do a twist on this, but this is an interesting point. This is going to happen.
Wyatt, there's one hung up in there.
Hey! Hey, guys. What's happening? I guess there's some kind of misunderstanding here.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. Those two guys over there, they're my colleagues.
What kind of colleagues?
Journalists, sir. We're passing through.
So interesting, if there's some liberals watching right now, they would be, this is the racism, man. We're all America. I haven't even told you the question I'm going to do. It's going to be a curveball, what this is, but we could talk about that later. But generally speaking, yes. When it comes to who is an American, who we don't know. But the communist, everybody belongs in America. And you could say the far right, which is me, would say white people, generally speaking. But the question I'm gonna pose to you is going to be different. But this is a really good part of the movie.
Passing through to where?
Charlottesville.
Charlottesville. What's in Charlottesville?
Good hiking, I hear. Actually, we are covering the university campus there. They started a new program. They are reopening the school, which is it's a real feel-good story. And
I don't want to lose my train of thought when I said this, but I tell young men, if you're interested in joining the military, instead of joining the communist, globalist, corporate American military, join a militia. And in militia, you might get some former military vets and stuff like that, maybe a state militia where you could get your military trainings out. That's what, I didn't see this movie. I don't know if this is the military, the militia, whatever. But that would be my advice. And you should be, because you should be trained, especially as a young man, train with the weapons, understand at least the basic tactics of military warfare. It's coming. But instead of joining the military, and we could discuss that later in our video, maybe joining a local state militia, and you'll probably get some military veterans in there as well.
I guess we all need that, right?
Yeah. This guy's your colleague? This guy here?
Yes, sir. He's my...
That guy?
Sir?
Just what? Just what?
You know what?
What?
Just please.
I always like to put this thought, man, because the violence, we'll do some more videos on violence, but I'm telling you, it's either going to go to violence or we could look at doing a peaceful separation. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're all going to go to violence, but a solution, a non-violent solution, because again, we don't want to see people get killed, is maybe a non-violent separation, or you could say divorce. Don't think it's going to happen. I think if you look at history, violence is going to work its way into this solution, and it's probably going to be based on violence.
Please?
Sir, please.
Sir. Yes, just speak.
We're American journalists.
You told me that already.
Okay?
This is actually pretty good acting from the soldier.
We work for Reuters.
Reuters doesn't sound American.
It's a news agency.
I know what Reuters is.
Sir, okay. I'm just saying.
Just saying, just what?
We're American, okay?
Phenomenal line. Here's what I'm going to tell.
Okay. What kind of American are you?
Okay. That's the key question. I think that was the clip that really sparked it. And I think you've heard this before. It's going around. And here's the loop, the curveball, the question. I think it's absolutely right. I don't know what an American is anymore. Overseas, I remember at the airport, I see these kids, they're anchor babies, can't even speak English. They got American passports. I mean, America has become a dumping ground. Same thing with Europe for everyone. I don't know what American is anymore, and it's dangerous, very dangerous, and it's part of the problem. But I'm going to take it a level higher and even more dangerous. And what would it be? Picture this same scenario. We're going to assume that's an American citizen. I guess we're going to assume he's a military veteran. He's wearing camouflage. Again, I didn't see the movie, but that's an American military veteran, or maybe he's on active duty. And he talks to another American citizen who is also a military veteran. And instead of the question being, what kind of American are you? Because they both know they're Americans. The question is, I'm a military veteran. And the response question is, what kind of military veteran are you? That's what I want you to understand. Whether you understand that concept or not, you believe me or not, that's happened. And that's dangerous. Meaning 1% of America, a very small, you could say an elite group of Americans, military fighters, war fighters, patriots, when in the military, if you assume that they're some type of big brotherhood, they're in the same sheet of music, they'll save America, they're all about the American flag. I am telling you, just like in a Civil War where we had West Point graduates killing other West Point graduates, that's at the stage we are in the military. And point is I've reached out to so many military people. I think the military help is horrible, and most people would agree with me on that. And I'll do more videos. But if you assume that this 1%, this small group, because it's become more common sense that 350 million Americans, we're not a family anymore. We don't know who's who. But 1% of the American public who served in the military, you probably as a civilian are assuming, no, they're one big family. No, we're not. It just is. It is what it is. But we are splitting. You're going to see in the future, there's going to be attempted coups. There's going to be more mutinies. Our military will fall apart. Give it time. But for the same reason that Americans are losing identity, losing cohesiveness, that's happening already in the military. And that is very dangerous. And that's, again, what I'm telling you about a one litmus point of why America's declining, and it is a danger flashpoint in any civilization, is when the military within the structure, to include the officer corps, when they start breaking apart, and it has been for decades. So again, the same thing where this person questioned, what type of American are you, or who are you, what kind of American are you? Picture that same scenario, two American military veterans in sort of like a standoff like this, asking the same thing. She goes, oh, hey, man, I'm a military veteran, man, as if to say we're brothers. And the guys with the guns like, what type of military veteran are you? And it sounds the most ridiculous question you ever heard. However, if we said, what type of American are you 100 years ago, that would probably be kind of crazy. But now, what type of American are you? It's getting to be normal. We don't know who these Americans, and I'm telling you, that's how we are with the military veterans.
Central American, South American.
Normally, I'd end the clip here, wrap it up. Well, we got to save it for Hong Kong because I'm in Hong Kong. Let's wait for the Hong Kong person.
What?
Florida.
Florida. Central. What about you? Where are you from?
I'm going to speed it up a little.
Hey. What's your deal? Where are you from? Huh? Where are you from? What? You can't speak? Are you mute? You can't speak English? Yes, you can. Yes, you can't. Okay. You open your mouth and tell me where you're from. Just make sure it's clear fucking English, okay? Where are you from?
I'm from Hong Kong.
Oh, China. China.
Okay, let's do some part about Hong Kong since I'm living there in China. Now, no shooting people from that, but an interesting point to learn is you as an American, unless you're Chinese American, you can never immigrate to China or Hong Kong and become a citizen. So no, I'm emphasizing it's not about shooting Chinese people, but the point is this is where we have to relearn who are we. But I'm not a big fan, particularly from countries where we're, again, common sense 101. If I am not allowed to become a citizen in your country, why should I allow you to become a citizen in mine? So I like the Hong Kongers. I could talk about the Singaporeans, I could talk about the Taiwanese, the Japanese. I could talk great things about them. But it still doesn't change my mind. I would not give them citizenship. And if they said, where did you learn that racist ideology? I learned it from you. I was like a kid doing drugs. Remember that old commercial where the father's like, who taught you to do drugs? He's like, I learned it from you, Dad. Well, I mean, that's generally speaking. I mean, that's where I really learned this ideology. And it's a form of respect to the Asian culture, saying, I learned that from you. You were in sense of a father figure. I learned that from you. And the learning is we as non-Asian ethnic people are not allowed to become citizens in Asian countries. It actually makes sense after a while. It's a lot of common sense. And so I learned that from them, and then I'm going to apply that. I would not allow them to become citizens in America. But again, we're not talking about shooting people. So let me wrap it up here. One, if you stayed with me for so long here in 2 years, I appreciate it. Put your name in there so I remember it. The second part is, what are two types of areas where we're going to collapse? One, I said in the military, one, we don't have the strength to do the draft anymore, meaning people are not going to do the draft. Our military is splitting. Think of our World War II veterans who are alive today. What would they say about America? It's a sinking ship, people. It's sinking. Donald Trump. If you believe in voting, I don't. I think the voting system, I think it's going to go to guns. But if you still believe in the political voting system, then I still believe Trump is the best candidate, and vote for Trump, vote for J.D. Vance. Again, I think it's garbage, but I still believe he's the best candidate. But don't fool yourself in that first clip about bankruptcies. These tariffs and this agenda, this is about the globalists. Even with Trump, you're going to be a lot of stupid MAGA people like China's the enemy. You're going to see China and Xi Jinping and Trump shake hands. In fact, I should have done the clip. They're changing the political narrative for China, saying now they're not going to hold off China. This is the Trump administration. They believe that China's going to grow. It's going to be kind of a multipolar world. It's coming, people. We are a globalist corporation. We follow the money. I predicted this way, way, way back. If you think you're going to stop China, you are a moron. The same reason why you buy cheap Chinese goods. We have no ideology in America except money. It's not like that in China. They have other ideologies. We really don't. It's all about the money. And Trump, I like him, but he's a global CEO. He puts American first, like a business. He wants his business coming first. But within that business, I mean, he will shake and bake and sell and make whatever he wants to do to keep that money going. And there's going to be a lot of, you could say, the working class Americans, they're going to be done for. But the corporations are still going to be doing well. This is David Baumblatt from Terabint Leadership. I appreciate your support. And to the Patriots out there, keep watching the horizon. I've said it. I left America in 2010. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. There's going to be the creme de la creme who are going to do very well. But you could say the regular working Americans, it's going to get really bad. And eventually, it's going to collapse. Give it time, you'll see. Until then, lead to victory.